Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this is Apex Greatness. I am your host, Russell Broderick. This way is Dario Albuquerque.
Yes!
It felt better that way, honestly. It just felt better.
I know. I figured that was what you were gonna do anyway, so it didn't matter.
Crushed that way, it just was good. Off camera is the fairy pod mother, Lindsay Lehman.
Hello.
What's up, guys? How we doing today?
I'm doing great.
It's a good weekend for you?
Oh yeah, this was awesome.
outside of getting my ass kicked in football over the weekend. It was interesting because I wanted to pause it right on that, damn it. Because we have finally crowned an NBA champion with confetti and nobody there.
Oh man, it's awesome. All right, I just wanna congratulate the greatest franchise in NBA history. They are undoubtedly the greatest franchise in NBA history. Been to the most NBA finals over the NBA span.
Mm-hmm.
Won the most NBA, won the most championships, or tied, whatever, if we want to count the other.
I'm pretty sure it's tied.
That's fine.
We're gonna get into that.
But congratulations to Los Angeles Lakers for winning probably the toughest NBA championship ever. Probably, arguably, that's a big.
There's a
it's
huge,
up there.
Yeah.
It's probably top 5, top 1, top 2, not 2.
Top 1, top 5, top. That's it.
Top
top 2, not 2. Drizzy, you already know.
The bubble. It's going to be a championship I feel like NBA fans will never forget. As stupid as that might sound. And no one's going to forget the time LeBron got it done in the bubble. And no one's going to forget the Bucks refusing to take the court.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's some shit from this that will be iconic.
This is a historic year just naturally. Just like with all the shit that's happened in all of 2020. And now you just have to say the Lakers are the champions of this year. And I'm excited.
What's it like? It's been 10 years? What's it been like to
It's been 7 since we last were in the playoffs.
Yes. And this has gotta be this last 10 years had to have been the worst 10 years in the history of your whole franchise.
Yeah. I don't think
by a lot. It's either
even in the 90s that they make the playoffs, really?
Yeah, they made the finals in the beginning of it.
Oh yeah, and the end they went deep.
Shaq and Kobe, they were good.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, this is definitely the worst span.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The great Jordan Hill.
Yeah, it fucking sucks.
Legends such as Robert. Oh, this is the one thing I want to know: how fast Robert Sacre can expect his ring, as being one of the most legendary Lakers of all time, and really just the motivating factor for this championship.
Yeah, that's a fact.
That's important to me.
He is. I was gonna say something like really spicy, but now I'm not. Because this is just obvious. Robert Sacre is probably the best Laker I've ever seen.
Yeah,
100%.
By a wide mile. If you don't know who Robert Sacre is, look up his highlights.
Yeah, that's a fact.
He's the greatest bench celebrator in the history of.
Exactly. And if you ever want to see someone fake like they don't know how to make a layup, just watch him. It's
Word. But last thing about Robert Sacre is we've already spent too much time on him.
What was that?
Robert Sacre, when he would get on the court for 5 minutes a game, would get the ball 20 times in that 5-minute span. He got the ball. Everybody loved him. And he would get the ball and just suck horribly.
I hate it.
Just I watched a guy literally, instead of steal the ball from on a dribble, I watched a guy literally take the ball from his hands and dribble to the other side and get an easy layup. God, I love it.
I'm gonna tell you one thing. I've been dying to have this podcast since yesterday night, and and we've even texted and we talked for a brief time, and I never expected Robert Sacre to be part of this conversation. Oh man, that's hilarious.
But in all seriousness, as a Laker fan,
Russell has always had a hard on for Robert Sacre. Let's be real here.
Yeah, he's a goat. He's a goat. But listen, because we got to stop talking about him. He's not even on the fucking team. People are gonna start getting confused. Like, dude, what year is this from? But by the way, I saw a couple funny things about this. Did you see J.R. Smith was the first person to grab the trophy?
He didn't do shit. Did he even play? I don't even think he logged like more than like 5 minutes in the whole series or the whole playoff.
I just want to see if it's true because I heard that, but I don't know if it's true.
No, I think they showed it,
but I missed it. Yeah, that's why I ran it back a minute because I just want to see. Yeah, JR, the greatest player on the team.
But I would like to say, all right. So could I bring up the spiciness, or do we want to like dwell like?
Well, I want to talk about
greatness.
I want you to talk about. First of all, what's it like to win a championship without Kobe Bryant? You've never done that before in your life.
Yeah.
Secondly, second question is, which I kind of got into a minute ago. What has the last 10 years been like, and from championship to championship?
Okay. So just in general, like basketball was very difficult for me after 2016, just because I was lost. I was a lost boy. Yeah. My dad retired and I had to just follow something. So what I followed was LeBron hatred. So anything LeBron did, I rooted against him. So I was a Golden State fan for 3-4 years, however long they faced him.
Yeah.
And you see, JR did pick up the trophy first. What an asshole! He didn't do shit, and he had the nerve to.
Like, Rondo was like, "Nah, bro, you giving that over here." I almost posted. This is the
he's
best
like, I'm like Rondo's like, I'm like the reason we're here right now. Like, you see my game? Like, get the fuck out of here, JR. But so like without Kobe for those 4 years, it was just weird. So, but having LeBron come to LA and me knowing that I could like. Now my team is gonna be good because I had to watch them be bad for a while. I did see them break Golden State's streak in
shit, that
in 2016. Yeah, I know. We were lit, and but it has been really tough not seeing because you're spoiled as a Laker fan, just like expecting them to be in the playoffs or in it or like, and there's always like the Laker drama that gets created there, like with the media and stuff, and it's awesome. You know, like it makes the season very interesting.
Combined Laker drama with LeBron drama this year.
Exactly. It was just
double whammy.
It was perfect.
It was so messy. It's been so messy.
Media side, I don't know how messy it was in the actual like team.
That's one thing I preach on all the time. Is like people on television make these storylines and we talk about shit that happens, but at the end of the day, very little of it impacts those guys in the locker room.
Yeah.
Especially in basketball where it's a smaller club. It's only 15 guys.
Yeah. And like, especially when there's not drama in it. Like you can see that AD and Bron, like just because we listened to that one interview they had with Rachel Nichols, and it literally just sounded like you were sitting down listening to friends talk, like what we do. And it was just interesting just to like hear their perspective and kind of hear them be human, you know?
Also, Bron definitely doesn't smoke cigars other than finals or like I know he drinks sometimes, but like that dude when he got on the podium for the press game with the huge cigar, his eyes looked like faded. He was like
he looked like he was because I feel like he's a very self-conscious person. Yeah. So he looked like he was self-conscious.
Honestly,
smoking the cigar and talking like I don't know.
So I think 2 thoughts ran through his mind before he stepped on that stage. Number one, he probably thought, damn, I'm a role model to kids. Should I really be smoking this fucking thing? And then his second immediate thought, which I got to imagine is why he went up there with the cigar. He went, fuck it. MJ just did it in The Last Dance. We just watched this guy. I'm doing it. What is anybody going to say?
Yeah.
I bet you that was his thought.
Because that's what I was thinking.
In the post-game interview. He mentioned Jordan several times, so I'm sure he was thinking about it.
Well, they made him mention it, but, I feel like he didn't want. I feel like he tries not to, but
no, he said in that same interview with Rachel Nichols, he goes, "With my friends, I'll talk about it. With you guys, I'm not falling for that trap."
Yeah.
So he does talk about it. He definitely does because he's a human being.
Yeah,
fucking. If I was LeBron James and my friends were like, "Yo, you're not the greatest player of all time," I would be like, fuck you. You try to get on the court and carry the teams. You kidding me?
Yeah. And
yeah, you're LeBron. Come on, there's no cameras there.
Did you hear when well, this is not gonna be a LeBron Jordan thing. Whatever.
We'll have our time to get into that.
Yeah. But I would like to say this, and this is, I guess, the spiciness that I'm, and I've been feeling this for a little bit, and I feel like I have to say it. Look, Kobe Bryant was by far the most inspirational player I've ever watched. For me, for what he did to me, and he's my GOAT and my favorite player that I've ever watched. But I have to admit, LeBron James is probably the best player I've ever watched live.
Wow.
You have to give it up. Like, it's just crazy.
So, LeBron, so we're looking at players of the 21st century. Let's just talk about that. We'll go to
post Jordan.
First of all, before we get into LeBron's legacy, I just want to announce we're going to be doing LeBron's legacy breakdown immediately after, I guess,
the Mambas
file of once we're done releasing all of Kobe's content, we'll immediately be starting LeBron's legacy breakdown. Even though his career is not finished, we got 17 years to look at. It should take a shitload of time.
Yeah, it'll save us some time later when his career actually finishes.
That's a crazy thought. Like, we have 17 seasons to go through, and he's still going.
But with LeBron, players of the 21st century, right? I'm gonna switch videos real quick.
He doesn't look like he's slowing down at all. That's the part that he on the court, like when you watch him, but then when you look at like his production, it's just like you've just never seen anything like it.
I feel like since he turned 30, the general regular season media hype around him is he slowing down? Is he getting old? And then he gets to the finals and people are like, oh no, he just conserves his energy. Yeah. But it happens every year. Like, people have amnesia.
Yeah.
We asked it on our show.
That's a fact.
We asked the question right before the playoffs. You said it to me. You were like, I'm concerned about LeBron's first step. Yeah. You're like, has he slowed down? And I said to you, that's a completely fair thing. But just like Lindsay said, he fools us often.
Yeah. And even during this playoffs, he did not look like, and that's just what's scary about then this is when it hit me, because it's like, you gotta appreciate it. You can't like, it gets frustrating to like just hear people like just want to hate on the guy. This guy has clearly lost a step. If you think that if you look at LeBron from 2018 to this guy right here, he's clearly lost a step, and it doesn't matter. Like, he's the best player in the world, and it doesn't matter that he lost a step. That's the part that, that's just shows you how much farther ahead he was than everyone else.
Even when we talk about Jordan, and I'm sure we're going to do a lot of that, Jordan
did the same shit too.
That's what I'm saying. In the second three-peat, he also lost a huge step, but changed his game a little bit. And that's kind of what he's done.
Yeah.
Changed the game a little bit. And LeBron should get credit for putting together the not 2020, but the present day athlete and how to maintain your body. Yeah. He is the blueprint for that. There were guys before him, like Kareem, who played 20 years, that was doing a little bit of that, but obviously, LeBron sleeps in a hyperbaric chamber.
Even Kobe worked his ass off, but I don't know, because Kobe put his body through shit that I don't know if LeBron would have. He would playing unnecessary games with dislocated fingers. I think LeBron now, he would have probably took a game or two off.
Well, here's the thing I was going to mention. In the playoffs, he's never missed a game.
Yeah.
Never. Not one time. And that was the one thing he said. That was the one thing he said when anybody asked him about the GOAT. Outside of, you guys can answer that for yourselves, the only other thing he mentioned was, the one thing I'm most proud of is being available every game for my guys.
Yeah.
And that's super interesting because, that was one of two most interesting things I heard him say. The other one was that the 27-year-old LeBron James would would get his ass handed to him by this one. And I thought that was extremely interesting.
Yeah.
For those who like to say that LeBron is not mentally tough and doesn't have it in him. I think that LeBron at 27 probably didn't. This LeBron now, you can't question it. Especially going through this MTV style bullshit where they stick the fucking 22 teams in a hotel.
Yeah, that LeBron, I don't know if he would have been able to go through this.
I don't know either. Yeah. He said he didn't know.
And you want to know what's crazy about that is so that season I think he talked about this. So I'm just pretty much quoting what he said. Yeah. He was contemplating going to football in 2012.
I remember that because Stephen A. That was when Stephen A. came out and was like, "You got to get it done. No more excuses." That was Stephen A.'s big thing. It was big on that news story.
Yeah, that's funny. but he was already like, you could see the mental weakness there, like him contemplating it and then him just going through with it, and everyone pretty much agrees is that Celtics series is what like clicked something in his head to just be like, I have to, or no.
No. I was actually looking at this.
Oh, gotcha.
Right here.
Yeah. No. Oh yeah, that shit was freaking fire.
Yeah. So done fucking. But LeBron is definitely. He's got to be the best player of the 21st century. It's him, Duncan, or Kobe.
Yeah.
And I feel like he's got it. I mean, Duncan's got more rings, but he had a completely different level of pressure than LeBron has had his whole career.
Yeah.
Playing in San Antonio and having Greg Popovich. Like, LeBron's basically doing Peyton Manning shit. Like, and I thought about that recently because I was thinking about how Frank Vogel said on the stage, he was like, those who think they know, they don't know. And when your head coach says that, who everybody kind of thinks didn't really do a lot,
which is
makes
bullshit.
me think.
If you watch just the series in general, there's no way you can say that LeBron made all like Vogel was making the adjustments. Like he was
making. See, the reason why I think they picked Vogel, and the reason why I think LeBron wanted Vogel, is because what is the one thing that LeBron gets criticized for, especially during the regular season?
That he doesn't the coach. That he doesn't listen to the coach.
It's that right there. Actually, hold on. This we're about to see. He does not attack on defense constantly in the regular season.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant
you had a bunch of choices.
Yeah, I'm sorry. There's multiple ways to take that.
You had a bunch of choices. I didn't say.
And he played D this whole year too.
But like so that's my point. Mm-hmm. I think he knows that he, much like most people who play basketball, have a tendency to be lax on the defensive end.
Yeah.
And they have this team had the potential to be great defensively. Not good, but great.
Yeah. And they were. I think they were honestly one of the best. The Lakers usually have pretty good defensive teams. Like the championship teams are usually pretty good defensive teams, but I always raved about their defense.
Was perfect. But my thing is, I think on offense, I think LeBron's coming up with a lot of that. I really believe that.
The offensive schemes?
Yeah. I don't think there's a lot of scheming on the offensive side done by Vogel.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of LeBron literally watching film, writing shit up. And there's people that DeMar DeRozan talked about it recently. Not DeMar DeRozan. Somebody else was talking about it recently. Where it was DeMar DeRozan, where he was talking about in the playoffs how LeBron, told the guy on the on the Raptors where to go in the play because he's
because he knew the play.
I really believe that he's like Peyton Manning was on those Colts in the Denver teams where he's just running the practice on offense. I bet your ass LeBron's doing that. I bet.
Yeah,
and that's why
I'm pretty sure.
And but that's why when he was told to be a point guard this year, nobody was like, "Nah, no chance."
Yeah.
Everybody was like, "Oh,
well, he was already
100%.
the point guard. Like he's a point forward. Like that, he pretty much played point guard his whole career.
Basically, all that told me when he was going to be moved to the point guard was that he's basically drawing up plays now. It's him.
Is that?
It's Rondo.
Yeah,
and it's probably Jason Kidd working together.
I thought that they were trying to my thought on that was that they were trying to do like small ball, but in the opposite way, where it was like it's not small ball obviously, but they play it in a way where it's all guards, because like AD as a center is really like a point guard as a center, you know what I mean? Because he plays way different than any other center would. But LeBron as a point guard is like having almost like your power forward as a point guard, you know. So they were playing small ball, but in a bigger form where they had the advantage and they still could play small ball, whatever.
Yeah,
that's how
something that I had heard. I forget who said this. Somebody said this. Fuck, it's probably on the Bill Simmons podcast, but they said the thing about this team and the Miami team, right? And we also said this on our show, was how intense they would bring it defensively, and that's how they'd set up their whole shit, and that was like their foundation.
The Lakers,
this Lakers team, and that even those Heat teams that LeBron was on, right. I just think here's the thing. I'm pretty sure that he was the best 21st century player before this moment, but this makes it unassailable.
It solidifies it. Yeah, it solidifies.
Unassailably the best player of the 21st century. Now, I'm pretty sure he's on the all-time starting five if we play him at small forward.
Oh, yeah, I mean, he wouldn't be the best.
You got Magic.
He wouldn't be the greatest
MJ.
point guard. I'm sorry. Doesn't matter what he does. He's not.
Yeah, well, this is why I brought it up. They've been brought. It's Magic. It's MJ. It's LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
It's Duncan, or maybe somebody else. And then center's actually the hardest one. Center's the one I actually.
Center's the most competitive.
Because some would say Bill Russell, some would say Shaq, some would say Keem Olajuwon, maybe. Will Chamberlain.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a lot of guys to be named there, but I think the first four guys.
You know, some would say AD too. You know, like
Kareem.
Not yet. Not yet.
Kareem. I can't believe it. Yeah, Kareem.
Yeah, my fault. Yeah, of course.
No, you're good.
But that would be the starting five.
The top, the starting five. Yeah.
He is by far and away now the greatest small forward of all time to ever play the game.
Yeah. We spoke about we thought that he was the greatest small forward before this. So yeah.
But again, it's like it just makes it like.
But
go for it.
And this might come up in his legacy breakdown, but I'm just curious. So does this? Do you have? Where do you have him? Where does he? Is it close for you? Is he? I know he's always been in both of our top fives, I think. But does it move? There's a lot of him up in your top five, or is he still the same? Or
if you pick a top five
for me.
No, for me, it's like when I say pick a top five, like if we're saying top five overall peaks, it's still Jordan, then him, then Kareem, and then after that. If we're talking longevity, I think this might seal it for him.
Over Kareem.
I think this might be the one. And if it's not, then I mean, honestly, if he gets one more MVP for me, that's it. Like he's the
argument for him,
longevity player ever.
Yeah, my argument for him,
he's almost there. If not for Kareem's insanity over 20 years, it would be him by a long shot. Because it's just those guys. That's it.
Yeah. The only thing that hurts Kareem to me, and it's just the way that I look at it. It doesn't have to be how everyone else does, but it's just that the 70s is just not. Yeah. It's just like that's arguably the worst basketball decade. So
some of his MVPs are illegitimate, as we covered on his legacy breakdown.
Illegitimate,
like the one he won despite being on a losing team that didn't make the playoffs.
Oh yeah,
that's insane. That would never happen today, no matter what. You could average 50 a game.
Yeah, but back then it was more so like who was actually the best, right?
Statistically, so yeah. That's why people get mad at those votes all the time because, like, nobody knows because the lines were so blurred for such a long period of time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I just don't. How long do you think he can keep doing this for?
At this level, or just in general, or just like be productive? How long do you think he can
play? This is the best way to ask this question. How many minutes a game did he play this year? In the regular season. I'm not going to say the playoffs.
I want to say 37.
Let's get...
Probably 40 during the playoffs. Maybe 39 during the playoffs. I think it was more towards 39. That was one thing that I really liked about this team. Like, and this is why no one... Frank Vogel was probably... and it's not... I don't think... 30, 35, 34.
He technically led the Lakers in minutes, but it was close between him and AD. How long do you think he can play this amount of minutes?
I don't know. I think at a superstar level, you could probably give him like 2 more years. I feel like you have to see at least somewhat of a drop off for you to really start. I'm giving him 2 years because I haven't seen a huge drop off, and this is like after injury. He's older, and he also had like 5 months off from the bubble when watching this, and he still was easily the best player in the league. So I'll probably give him 2 more years before he's not the best in the game. And I think no matter what, he can play 5 more and be very productive, giving you over 20 points a game with like at least 5 assists, at least 5 rebounds.
Here's why I have Tom Brady up. I'm sure you're wondering why I have Tom Brady up. He's the only realistic comparison for longevity and greatness in our era. There is no basketball comparison. Yeah. It's just Tom Brady. And when I go here, I'm thinking about it for this reason. Tom Brady, for the most part, as I have his season passing numbers, right? He's 41, still throwing 30 touchdowns.
Yeah.
LeBron obviously plays, but like, why can't he play till he's 40 if he doesn't get hurt? Why can't he keep this up? I don't think it's hyperbole to say that. I really don't. When we talk about how well he takes care of his body, and how sharp his mind is, it's just about whether he's focused or not. Like,
and especially because he's slowly, and it's a little different. It just looks very different, but it's very Magic-like with his slow. Like the pace that he goes at is not. He usually tries to take it really slow, and but he just play like I could see him going into like a Magic kind of game, or like kind of style to where he's just doing a lot of back to the basket dribbling stuff and then just passing around like towards like what Magic did towards the end of his career.
And that's what he's starting to do right now as he leads the league in assists.
Yeah.
At 35. Like this is the thing, like this was the thing about Kobe too. Barring injury, why did Kobe have to stop? Once he tore his Achilles, that was the reason. Once these guys who grind break that routine at an old age, it's hard to pick it back up.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I feel like I've learned over a lifetime of sports fandom is, how should I drop one of them? But I realized that barring injury, there's no reason why these guys who are taking care of their body religiously and understand what works best for their body, why can't they play till 40? And that's what made me think of Tom Brady immediately.
Especially to LeBron's extent, where he like everything about his life is like to make sure that he could continue on. Like just look at his career and take away the very first year, which is a still pretty decent year, and the consistency. The level of consistency. Look, he's averaging 27 a game. And if you see, it's 27 throughout most of his career. Like, it's just so consistent.
He's only averaged like 1 or 2 years less than 27.
Yeah. And it's just...
We got 26-8, 26-4, and 25-3 this year, and that's it.
Yeah. And like the low, like his floor is 25 points a game. Like when it comes
let's go to the post.
For people who don't, oh yeah, and it's not yeah.
Career 28, 7 and 9, shooting almost 50% basically. 33% from three. And where's his free throw? 74%. That's the one thing about LeBron's career. Free throws are like oddly low for no reason. Like he got to 80, like he was capable of it.
And the weirdest part is he's a good 3-point shooter. Like when you look at, like, not the greatest obviously, but he's pretty decent. And it's like, how can you shoot a 3
as they get older? As he gets older, look at this. We're in 40 as he's 22, 23, 40 effective field goal. Then look at this. By age 29, 61%, 56, 62. Like
he almost had 62 this year too.
Once he hit 27 or 26, really, because it was this year. Once this year happened, from here to here is basically 30, 10, and 7 with 2 steals and a block every game.
Yeah.
Shooting above 50%. And this is helped me answer your GOAT question a little further. That is second to MJ for greatest stretch of basketball ever played by anybody.
Yeah.
It's better than Bill Russell's by a little bit. Only because of competition.
Yeah.
But that stretch, what is this, 8, 9 years now? Basically a decade?
Yeah.
That's the second best decade anybody's put together.
It's been the entirety of my watching basketball. That first year that you've highlighted was the first finals that I watched.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
So I
root, and the part that bothers me the most is I rooted against him for a majority of that. So, and it's like I didn't
something that I've talked to you about off camera a lot is why I end up being somebody who's considered a Giannis lover, and it's because I see so much of him in that, in terms of like he's a good person. His game is like destructive and dominant.
Yeah.
Like he tries really hard, and like you can tell he wants it. Like he's got all the same qualities, and it's like I'm not missing the boat on this like I did with this guy. Because I did. I'm like anybody who was hating on him, you're just mad that you weren't fucking rooting for him in the beginning. So you had fucking like you have to steer like
yeah. Because even by 2006, I want to say by 2015, it was just like I was like, all right, I hate this guy. I know I hate him, but I gotta respect that because he's just. Like seeing what he had to do with Golden State that year when he didn't have Kyrie and Kevin Love, it was just like amazing. It was like I don't know, I could not see anyone else doing that and staying 6 games with them because I think any other star would have probably lost in 5. You would have gave him one game, and it would have been fine. That it would have been over. But he just like controls the whole pace of a game and like. I've never seen anything like live, at least. I've never seen anything like that. Yeah. I saw film of MJ and I saw how great he was, but I saw this live.
You weren't there,
yeah.
Yeah, if not for MJ's perfection in the 90s.
Do you think even so if MJ would have lost one of them,
it would be real close, man.
Yeah,
real close.
I agree.
Oh man, it would be close. Because even
if he would have lost to Magic, like
how bad's the loss for MJ? Like, is it?
Well, think about it in '98 when Pippen, Pippen was injured.
Yeah,
he had the bad injury, and he needed to win Game 6. If he didn't win Game 6, they most likely lose that series.
Yes.
And he hits the shot.
Yeah.
And that's just what solidifies MJ's like legacy. But if he doesn't hit the shot, you could probably it would have still been a loss that it's like you could understand why they lost, but that's most of LeBron's losses. Like besides Dallas, you could pretty much understand why he lost every single time. Like he lost to a great teams.
Yeah.
But if MJ would have lost,
Jordan for that matter, that a lot of people don't like.
Well, a lot of people like to sweep it under the rug, and it's like he lost. Like it's fine, he lost.
He didn't get to the finals in the '80s, but he was literally playing against like his big three rivals are three of the five greatest teams of all time.
Yeah,
you got the fucking bad boy Pistons, you got the '86 Celtics, and you have the fucking Lakers.
Yeah,
like that's it. Like that. Yeah. We universally consider those guys the greatest teams of all time, and those were the guys he was losing to. And same thing for LeBron.
Yeah.
The if we're gonna fill out the rest of that team of the greatest teams of all time, it would be the Bulls and the Warriors, who LeBron lost to. Like.
Yeah, I mean, we had the Spurs as one of the greatest.
Yeah, right? But like, you get my point. Like, oh yeah, well that's true. Like,
yeah, you got the Spurs, you got obviously the Warriors dynasty. Like, he definitely had. Everyone knows he had to go. And this is why no one, well, besides the huge LeBron haters, no one really was mad that LeBron got the Heat in the final. It was like, you kind of deserve one. You went through some shit. Like, you deserve this. Like, you deserve at least an easier one. Okay, right? Like,
Here's the thing with that. While I somewhat agree with you, and I can understand that, some would argue that not getting the Clippers in the conference finals was already that.
Yeah, but that's not his fault. Like, and it's the same thing with MJ.
The Heat getting there.
Yeah, but the Clippers collapsed. There's no saying that they would have even done anything against the Lakers.
Yeah,
but history is going to remember that real different. I feel
yeah, well, that'll just be a whole bunch of people that like are mad.
That's haters. Haters are going to do that.
They're 10 years. Well, what if those Clippers?
That Clippers team wasn't shit. That's what's going to happen. No one's going to remember them as the world beaters in the league and like the way that we.
Yeah,
100%. You're total. I remember you telling me that. You're totally right. Like,
yeah, but and the whole thing is, it doesn't fucking matter. Like because no matter what, we're not talking about them for a reason, because they, no offense, Lindsay, but they chose to lose. Like you got a 3-1, you had a 3-1 lead. You lost.
Oh no, I know they collapsed. It was pathetic.
Yeah. And it's like you can't blame LeBron like for that, because just like people argue that Jordan faced lesser teams than LeBron, like you can argue that the teams that LeBron faced in his 10 years in the finals is much better than almost every single team that Jordan faced in his 6 years. Like, you could argue that, and there's like a legitimate argument. Like, the only one you're gonna clearly get that is like, all right, this one is not a competition, is Miami.
Yeah.
Like,
but it's just, and again, like, that's why, as you like to tell me, numbers don't tell the whole story. It's about how these guys do that. And that's where to me, like, the things that you say about, imagine if Jordan didn't hit that shot. He did, and that was why.
Exactly. That's why I love Jordan. It's like, you don't have to imagine it, because he didn't let you. He showed you what it is. He's like, this is, don't worry, you don't have to imagine if I did this or didn't. I'm gonna just do it for you.
You know what the most fucked up part is? You're talking about it like it's like a comical, angry mentality, but there's no doubt that's how he thought. There's no getting around it. That is absolutely what he thought. It's not even like you're kidding. That was his mentality.
Yeah. And I'm gonna hear it in his voice too, the way he talked about it. Yeah, he always like just listening to The Last Dance, it was like he would talk about it as if like he was telling his teammates, this is what's gonna happen. Like,
I feel like if Michael Jordan was around in 2020, he would not be as universally loved as he is. I think he would be found as irritating.
He'd be
closer to Jimmy Butler than anything in terms of his personality around the league. Personality.
Oh no, not style. Of course, you didn't mean style. Come on.
I said personality. Whoa.
Yeah, no, I know what you meant, Lindsay. Don't worry about it.
I was ready to jump off a cliff there.
Oh man, but freaking.
But no,
no, you don't think he'd be Kobe? He'd be the same thing. He'd be Kobe too. Again, he would be the same thing Kobe was.
I think he would have been a little bit.
I think he would have been better.
Depends on what he would have done in those situations, given the thing. Like, Kobe had a chance to be even bigger than he was, and he was big, and he had a chance to be even bigger. Like, what? Do you think if
MJ was on Kobe, and this is getting way too, this is a LeBron conversation, but I'm just curious. Do you think if MJ was Kobe in 2001, that would 2000 to 2002, the three-peat with Shaq? If you switch out MJ and put Kobe and put MJ,
because of Shaq, it has nothing to do with either of those guys. Honestly, it has to do with the way Shaq respects MJ and didn't respect Kobe.
Yeah.
That would be it. because Shaq would be the little brother and he would know it.
Yeah.
And that would be like one of 4 guys that would have worked out for. Like, otherwise, Shaq, I'm the greatest player in the league. Dominant. Throw my balls and dunk on every single motherfucker. But
if you tell me I'm not the greatest, I will cry in the corner.
Anything else on LeBron before we move on? Because I want to talk about one of his teammates.
So I had a weird question.
Okay.
Yeah.
So on topics of like greatest of all time, how many greatest of all time in general have Lakers championships? I feel like in terms of the percentage, like if you're gonna go and like talk to people who have like a 1 through 20, there's gonna be a lot of Lakers champions in those 1 through 20. And like, how much do they make up of that?
I was getting at before with their percentage. Since 1980, since the Buss family has owned the team, they are the best franchise.
Yeah. And yeah.
Really
but
to
answer your question, you got universally known in the top 5, in the top 10.
Yeah.
You got Shaq is in there. You got now LeBron. You got Magic.
Shaq's in the top 15, but I get what you're saying.
Really?
No, don't do that right now.
Oh
no. Kobe. Don't tell me Kobe's in the top 15.
No, he's in the top 10. Kobe's in the top 10.
I was about to say, I'll flip out if you tell me Kobe's in the top 15.
But like, there's a lot of people who could be in that 10 spot, is what I'm saying. That's all.
I feel you.
But
you
Lakers, Shaq,
you got those. You got those 4, but then you got
George Mikan, the first superstar of the league.
But he's not a top 10. You said the top 20, right?
I'm just naming Lakers.
Top
I'm
20,
just naming great. At the time, George Mikan, when he retired, was the GOAT, and he only wore Laker colors.
Okay. We got Kareem. That's 5 out of the. So that's half of the. That's half of the top 10, or a third of the top 15. If Russ wants to do that,
you could go further because then you got. There's you said Magic, right?
Or I got Magic. Yeah, I got Magic, Kobe, Kareem. Magic, Kobe, Kareem, Kobe. Wait, Magic, Kobe, Kareem, Shaq, LeBron,
Jerry West.
Yeah, he's in the top 15, 20.
That's what I'm saying. He's in. These guys are.
Will Chamberlain, top 15, 20. That's a fact. You got 7 out of the 20? 7 out of the 15 that were Lakers. So that makes sense.
Like, they have dominated for basically most 30-year-olds' entire life.
Yeah.
Like, you haven't lived without the Lakers.
Yeah. And you could understand why Lakers fans, like, we don't talk to the fucking Knicks fans.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing.
We don't speak to peasantry.
If you take away both championships, if you take away, there's 2 things you can do for this Celtics-Lakers thing to break the tie. Okay. You can take away the Lakers-Minnesota championships. Because did you know that they don't even have George Mikan in their retired numbers?
They don't?
Right? I didn't even know that. Found that out on Bill Simmons' podcast. I could look it up, but I'm pretty sure that they don't have them. And when I heard that, I was like, they should not be counting.
Yeah, if you're not going to count the guy that played and won it.
And won those championships, that's fucking wild. Yeah, I think he was, I'm pretty sure he was 0-0.
Or maybe he was just too ass for us to give a shit.
No, it's because he never played in LA. And Dr. Buss was like, fuck it, I don't even know shit about him. Also, he was
he was like, but I'll take your championships, boy.
Also, not for nothing, he was commissioner of the ABA. So I'm sure there was some of that. George Mikan, I'm pretty sure he was commissioner.
Oh, gotcha. I can see that. Yeah. Well, what was that? So what will break the tie?
It was number 99.
Oh, number 99.
So you take away the championships won there, and then you take away the first 5, I would say, is the fairest thing to do. You take away the first 5 Russell championships. And then it's a little closer. And I think
so. When did
end of Russell's career, the league is more competitive than the beginning.
Yeah, and I mean the only thing that makes it tough with Bill Russell, and it sucks, but he played with 8 team, like format or whatever, and it just wasn't. Like people don't like to count that But
that's why people just account the entire league's history from 1980 on.
Yeah.
And if you
we will try to explain on a later podcast at some point how people can try to define their GOATs.
Yeah, there's many different ways to do that. But
there's
I mean, yeah, there's goat milk and goat cheese.
Stupid. Yeah.
Dumb.
Guess if you want to get really specific with it,
right?
Sure.
No, but I think I just think that
But one thing you know, one thing you do know. My bad, to not to cut you off.
No, you're good.
But you know, if something smells like a goat, tastes like a goat, and even like bads like a goat, then it's a fucking goat.
Or
MJ's the goat. Yeah, MJ's the GOAT, and that's fine. It doesn't matter. But you have to say LeBron James is one of the greatest players that you've ever watched. Because if not, you're just lying or you're blind. And if you didn't watch him, you could say that he was the greatest player you ever heard. Whatever. It's one of the things. You can't stop being a hater and just learn to love what you see. Because it's just
ELE. Everybody love everybody.
Facts.
All right.
Take this from the Kobe loving cock eater that hated LeBron for the longest.
What is going on?
And a lifetime Celtic fan who LeBron, we were their arch rival for a really long time.
Yeah.
That was it. Fucking, but let's move on because I want to talk about his partner in crime. Because one championship as a power forward / center puts you in an exclusive club. Do you want to talk as him as a set? Want to talk about him as a center or power forward?
He's a power forward.
Awesome. I was hoping you'd say that.
Yeah. Well, that's what he would say.
There are a lot less power forwards all time that have a ring and have dominated statistically like this man has dominated.
Yeah.
Let's take
while we're looking this up, could I just mention something that I also was thinking about with LeBron one more time?
Why did you let me go on? Why did you let me?
No, you got it. Let's keep on. My bad.
I was like,
this could be used something else. This could be something else. My bad. I got you.
You might be able to use it later.
In the future.
Oh shit. But 25 and 10.
Oh, why didn't you use his 13-point game, huh? No, I'm joking.
Same reason why we didn't use LeBron's. But you basically just used all his all-star years. 25 and 10 with a steal and 2 blocks a game. Only guys off the top of my head that have numbers like that, Karl Malone, Tim Duncan, Kevin Garnett. Name anybody else? Power forward?
Karl Malone. You said Karl Malone, Tim Duncan, and Kevin Garnett?
Yep.
Power forward? No. I don't. Not one that comes to my mind.
That's it, and that's what I wanted to do now. Is I wanted to put there.
Was Dirk? No, Dirk wasn't like that.
Yeah, no. Well, that's
not enough rebounds, not enough blocks.
But fuck it, we'll throw him in there. Fuck it, I don't care. Points, second all time, or second amongst this group for the career. Tim Duncan in his prime and Kevin Garnett, let's just assume they're 20 points, right? Because KG never really had a year above, 25? His MVP year, he was 24 points.
Yeah, like 24, yeah. But Tim Duncan did.
His numbers by heart.
Because that's your man's.
Yeah, but he never, but his best stretch of ball, right? His best stretch right here, in terms of statistics, 22 a game and 12 with 5 assists, right?
Yeah.
So, what was that? 6 or 7? All right. Anthony Davis has got a championship way before KG, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tim Duncan, he got a championship earlier than Anthony Davis, right?
Yeah.
But statistically, let's go to during his MVP time. It's easier for me to do it this way than it is to just let's say his rookie year is one of the few that counts.
Yeah.
And let's say until he smashed LeBron. 21-11, 2.5 blocks, right? He's right there.
Yeah.
Anthony Davis is right there statistically with these guys. And outside of Duncan, has equal to or more than the rings.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna start slowly but surely looking at Anthony Davis's body of work if he remains healthy, or maybe like I don't know how many better power forwards all time are there right now than Anthony Davis.
I mean, would you say Charles Barkley was better than AD? Because Charles Barkley was a power forward, right?
Yeah.
You got. I mean, Barkley at his peak, like, I don't know if I'm picking it. If I'm taking AD over Barkley at his peak.
Well, let's see what we got. The results. So they're right next to each other here.
Yeah.
You got 22-11 all time with a little bit more assists, but way less on the defensive end. Like Barkley was a rebounder, but he's 6'6". Like he can only
yeah.
Anthony Davis is this long freak of nature. Like I just.
But would you say Barkley was more of a facilitator and stuff? Like he ran an offense a little more than AD would?
Maybe to an extent.
It's a little different. It's just a little different, but
this is the other thing that I wanted to mention, and why this kind of feels weird and out of place to talk about him. These greats. Anthony Davis he's our age.
Oh yeah, I know. But I mean, to be honest, when these greats were being talked about as greats, they were our age too. Like,
but that's what I'm saying. Like but Anthony Davis has so much more of his career to go.
Yeah, I know. Like, yeah, that's a fact. But but I mean, like a lot of people argued KG as one of the best power forwards ever. Like they argue him to be 2, 1, whatever. I don't really, but he's great. He's great, but I just don't think he's 1.
I'm not saying he's 1, but he might be 2. There's a case to be made for him being at 2.
Yeah, I agree. I would take him over Karl Malone personally, but
I would take him over Karl Malone, over Dirk, I would take him over Anthony Davis, but you could make the case.
I would 100% take him over Anthony Davis.
But I'm saying, like, if you give Anthony Davis like 5 or 6 more years of what he's doing, it's going to be a much tougher case, man.
I just want to see
if he does it in your jersey.
Yeah, the only thing with AD is I just want to see him. It's easy to feel like you're the big dog when you have LeBron James right there, which is fine. He might have him for most of his career, or the next 3 to 4 years of his career.
Another championship with him.
Yeah, which is fine. I just want to see him be like a dog. I just need to see the aggression in him a little more. I don't know if I saw that during this playoffs. Like he'd had spots, but I just don't know. That's just something that I'd be looking out for. I like watching him play and I like rooting for him. I just want to see that he has the little extra.
You didn't think the Rockets series was his spot? I feel like he did a lot in that series.
Yeah, but he had all the.
What are we talking about? This guy. Okay, time out. 2 seconds. Let's go to these finals stats real quick.
No, time out. And before
I'm not saying he wasn't effective or that he didn't do it, but I'm saying in terms of the Rocket series, it seemed like it was more on him to beat that team because of the sizing, and that's why I brought it up. Yeah, but that's not my argument. It's not even an argument. It's just something that I want to. There's certain things I like to see. I see him play. When I see him players, it makes me know that they're. It's almost like trustworthy. Like LeBron James, like I know that there's this aggression in him at points to where he's like, all right, I have to take over this game to make sure that we win. Like I know that he has that in him and he goes to that level. Kobe did that. Like,
I think Anthony Davis has that in him, and we saw.
I think he possibly has it, but I just don't. I need to see it consistently. That's all I want. Like it's just, and I'm gonna be rooting for him, and I don't think anything less of him. And I don't think he's not a champion. I don't think he's not a great player. I think this playoff series, this playoff run solidified that he's a top 5 player. If he's not, then I don't know. I mean,
I was thinking he was a top 5 player when they signed him to the Lakers, but
you think?
Yeah, I did.
I thought
the best. To me, he was the best. Like in terms of when they signed him,
I thought we had him at like 6 or 7 though.
Once you paired him with LeBron, that elevated him immediately. Like the case could be.
I'm just saying that I don't think
Orleans by himself. Maybe
I don't think we agree. I don't think we 100% thought that before the playoffs.
Maybe I don't know.
I only know because we text each other about it. So that's what.
No, I'm saying like.
I can't remember. I can't
remember exactly where. Like if I was to think about it,
I remember we spoke about it and we said that he was like 6 or 7. Because our top 5 if we counted like everyone, like let's say like everyone healthy, at their healthy, like it would have been LeBron, Durant, Kawhi.
All right, but so let's
add Steph in there, and I had Harden in there.
So let's ask this question. That's where I was going to get to. Him or Harden?
I'm going him.
Me too. What about you, Lynn?
Him, easy.
Yeah. Easy.
Because the defensive end matters a lot.
Him or Steph?
Oh, I'm going Steph.
Case could be made.
Oh, it could be made, but I would just make him over the other.
Two-way play. Just straight up on an every night basis. Like, what would you want to start your team around? Like, I could see.
I got a man. The only thing with Steph is I have a man's that he just if you center the team around him, you know you can win championships. It's been proven.
Yeah.
But that's the only thing with Steph is championship level.
That you can't do it around Anthony Davis yet because they really only did that in New Orleans, and that organization is not exactly primo.
But what's the Warriors? The Warriors wasn't a great organization until the Warriors hadn't won a championship for like 50, 60 years before this.
But when they hired the fuck is the general manager's name?
Oh, Jerry West?
No, that he was the consultant for them. But when they and he obviously helped because everything.
Bob Myers.
Thank you.
Yeah.
As soon as they hired that guy, they were set. He was and
he changed him, Jerry Buss,
good ownership.
A lot of them changed.
Yeah, it's not like the Lakers. Like no one's coming up, and no one's coming to that historically. Like that's insane. And also, not for nothing, you have to get lucky if you're a franchise like Golden State that doesn't have the lineage of like a Lakers or a Celtics or like the Bulls, or like somewhere like that tends to get free agents. Like you have.
Well, you created. No, I mean the Bulls created it too.
But they created it based on drafting a guy and getting lucky, like with a Jordan and then a Derrick Rose after that.
That's what the Warriors did too.
That's what I'm saying. They had to get really lucky with getting Curry and like Thompson and that all working out. And now they can set it up where we're the Warriors. We have legacy. Come sign for us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
But I think Anthony Davis, I'm really excited to see. First of all, he's not leaving, right?
No way. I don't even. He was smiling. Did you see the interview when they were asking him? He was smiling about it. He was just
question, so I had to ask.
Well, it's because they don't, because you never know what happens too. But I mean, there's no way the war like if for whatever reason like the Lakers feel like if he would have said, "Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna be here," and then they try to not give him the max, like you know what I mean, like shit like that could change it. But like they're gonna give him the max. They're gonna
be so fucked.
Yeah, the Warriors would. I mean, the Lakers would never not give a guy. I don't think have they ever been stingy? Like I've never heard of them being cheap. So
I just think when we're looking at guys to build a team around, I don't know, like how many guys, even if you put them with LeBron, and we're gonna do this with Jimmy Butler also, how many guys, if you put them with LeBron in that situation, do you trust to win the championship? Like it's not exactly this huge number
in the league.
Yeah, it's not exactly this giant number of guys.
Like if you so you're saying if you substitute Davis with someone else, who else would help get the job done in this same scenario?
Not even help. Who do you think you would feel confident as you did with LeBron and AD? Because there was a lot of confidence there with that. They're such a nice foundation. Like their games work with each other very well.
Yeah.
Like if you did LeBron and James Harden, I think that would be weird.
Yeah. I mean, I could see him making it work with Joker. Joker would have.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Joker would have been fine. And it's because they have very similar set. It's just Joker doesn't play the defense.
But
that's
what
the
I was about to say. You think about how they're built. Like their foundation is defense. You
want to know what really made? And if KD doesn't come back healthy, I'd have AD as probably top 4, 3 in the league. And it was what changed. Oh, what the hell? Did you see my cat?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. She almost scratched my neck off. My bad. The thing that changed my mind, like really made me change my thought process, because honestly I didn't trust him that much, like throughout this playoffs. Like
I found so weird because even I questioned you during it because I was like, he's made shots. Like I've seen him make shots.
Yeah, I know. I just like seen players like that. Like he has more of a Pau Gasol mentality than a Kobe Bryant mentality to me.
That's interesting. I think he would punch you in the face for saying that.
But he and there's no disrespect. I just think he's like, I think he's a beta trying to be alpha.
Wow.
I hope I'm wrong. I hope that LeBron. No, so this is what made me change my mind. Well, a little bit of my mind. I still kind of. I'm like, you had the luxury of LeBron James, like that he's the ultimate luxury. And
think about how the game, but the team isn't. You know, this is the one thing for Anthony Davis that I'm going to say. If you really think about it, this team is not built around LeBron.
It's not
built around AD. Yeah, everything,
but it's because
is what this team's foundation is.
And but that's what you have to do with a dominant big. If you don't do that, you make them so much less useful.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but what I'm saying is, like, that's what I mean by there's a very, but also even with the dominant big, Anthony Davis is a unique dominant big that can move,
that can shoot,
and play. Like move quick, and like that's what I mean. Like if you put certain guys, like think about this team, the rest of this team, like they need a guy like Anthony Davis in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think there's not as many guys as we really think about that could have won the championship with this Laker team if it's not Anthony Davis. I think
he played a big role for sure.
Yeah. And he hit a bunch of game-winning shots.
Yeah.
Like
I loved his
one specific one, but
what made me really, really like be like, all right, this is a guy that I could 100% root for years to come. It's him guarding Jimmy Butler. That is the heart. What? And this is where if you bring this up, this is what makes him top. Because remember, I just said 4 or 3 maybe. Yeah. And that's what would make him 3 to me. Is if he. Nobody could do that. Nobody at his size could have guarded Jimmy like that. Yeah. And like literally, like he gave Jimmy problems the whole time he was guarding him, he was giving him problems. Yeah. And I just don't see it. Yeah. Like KD is a different story because he's like a small forward, not really a powerful. You know what I mean? Like his game is totally
Davis
different.
could guard like a legit center and a legit like 2 guard.
Yeah, exactly. And like that's where you just can't compare that with Steph. Like Steph is like his you know, like if you structure a team around him, it'll be great or whatever. But like that, just overall as a player, like AD was just complete. Like he made it so much easier for LeBron.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I think LeBron is so good, he's made Anthony Davis a little underrated. I think that's one thing I learned in this. I can see that. Is because, boy,
you don't think he made AD he put AD in a position to be better too?
Though? Oh, I'm not disagreeing with that at all. But isn't that the point of a good team?
No. I agree with that. No, I like.
Yeah, I'm taking that.
I like how they.
I'm taking that part out of it just because I'm already accepting the fact that's their chemistry is fire, and that's
I like that. Yep. Yeah.
But oh man, I thought AD was gonna get him there.
No, yeah.
But 25 and 10 with 2 blocks a game, 50, 40, 90. That's a short list, bro. I don't. Yeah. He might be.
That's the list. I'm pretty sure. There's no one else. No other power forward.
I don't know that for off the top of my head.
Oh wait, actually, well, in the finals, I'm pretty sure that's him.
The only one I could think of is maybe Durant with the Warriors.
With 10 rebounds. No, Durant had more like 33, 8 or 9 rebounds, something like that. Not. I
just know his rebound blocking picked up, but. From your power forward, who's supposed to be dominant defensively, he's giving you 25 and 10, 50, 40, 90. Like,
that's true.
We're gonna look back when his career is over and we look back at this finals, we're gonna say, God damn, why didn't he win Finals MVP? If you don't have the footage, it's gonna be one of those.
You think? No, I'm
saying
thought
without the footage, take the footage away. Because when you just look at
if you look at LeBron's stats, it's not even close.
It's not that far off, though, when you include the stuff that I'm saying. Like the 19, 11, and 8 with shooting 59, 40, and 66 from the free throw line is not as far off as 25 and 10 with 54.
He's averaging 5 more points, more rebounds, and he's the point guard, and he's averaging 5 more assists. He's averaging almost the same in steals. The only thing is the blocks. And then the free throw percentage. I just LeBron's averaging a better field goal percentage, almost the same at 3. Like, it's only the free, like, what do you care about more, free throws or blocks? Blocks I like more, but LeBron's leading them in everything else. Like, LeBron is just the ultimate, like, when you're talking stats with LeBron, it's like not even, it's just hard. But AD was, he would have been Finals MVP with anyone else.
You think?
Yeah. I think if Kobe was his teammate and he put up this, Kobe would have put up maybe 35 and 5 or something like that.
Yeah.
And depending on how the series went, obviously, like if Kobe was down,
because that was the other thing. Dominating. Davis, I guess there was like game 5 he didn't play well, right?
Yeah, he had up and down, but he was also injured throughout some of the series.
Yeah. But I just think, I don't know. I'm happy for Anthony Davis. Like,
yeah,
this was a guy who got a lot of shit for going to LA. A lot of shit.
So that's all, folks. All that other shit that he did, like, kind of. And it was more from Pelicans fans who no one gave a shit about. That's fine.
Yeah,
it was from Pelican fans that we ain't give a fuck about.
Good for this guy, though.
Us Laker fans don't give a shit. We got AD. He's our boy. He win Finals MVP at some point.
Yeah,
fine. Nah,
oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I definitely. I wasn't trying to shit on him. I just don't know. Like, but he played through injury. Like, I think I'm expecting too much. Or more than whatever.
I might agree with you. Also, look at him compared to
because he did a lot. He did a lot. Yeah, he did a lot.
Like, I'm just saying, if he puts together 5 more years like this, and if he gets another ring, it's going to be him and fucking Duncan, and that's it. And that's crazy.
You think? Not even KG will be a argument?
Not if he gets another ring.
Yeah. And he arguably could have been Defensive Player of the Year this year.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. And I mean, the same things could go for KG, but like.
So this is actually a funny thing. So because both defensive people who are running for Defensive Player of the Year this year had the luxury of facing this Heat team. And when Giannis was brought with the question, why won't you or will you guard Jimmy Butler?
Yeah.
He said, why would I do that, or something like that. And then they said, like, he's hot or whatever he said, and then he pretty much said it's the coach's decision, right?
Right.
And AD actually asked to guard Jimmy Butler. How do you feel about that, my friend? Because I feel like that's a.
You want to know how I honestly feel about that?
Yeah, you don't give a shit.
I think that any team that LeBron James is on is completely player driven. And that's the culture. I don't think that culture up in Milwaukee You saw, honestly, I know that he's not an American, but you saw it when they were doing the lockout thing. Like he was on the side. Like like maybe it's because he's not like he's a foreign guy and he's not.
Yeah.
But like something worries me about Giannis that maybe he doesn't realize like who he is at times.
Like, his power.
Or I think he's not aware of it yet.
Yeah.
Because I remember with Jason Kidd, he was going to go talk to management and do that, right? And I think at the end of this year, even when we move a couple years forward and we're talking about the end of the playoff run for him, he went to Bucks management and like had the conversation. So I think maybe going into next year, maybe we'll see something like that. Maybe in the summer they make more moves, but
and it's smart. I could see that. I could see that definitely.
Major difference between Anthony. I don't think Anthony Davis, when he was 24, 25, would have done that. I think also as he's gotten a little more confidence, being especially in the purple and gold and being next to the greatest player in the 21st century, that's going to give you confidence through the roof. So what I'm really interested to see is what Anthony Davis does with this championship under his belt. Knowing that when he goes and plays James Harden and Russell Westbrook, he goes, I got more rings than both of these fucking guys.
Together.
Yeah.
And that's a fact because and not to mention that he demolished them in a series, so that helps too. But I agree. Like I think that was one thing I've been thinking about was hopefully in the second year you see that because it's kind of like what happened with Kobe too. Like, and I always mention Kobe just because I know everything about him. But in 2001, after he won that first championship and he was a big part of that finals run, and he had a big games. You saw the swag and stuff come out.
That's what I'm interested to see in Anthony Davis because I know he has that a little bit, but I wonder if him getting this first championship and this elephant off of his back, will allow.
And it happens to a lot of people actually. Like when you think about it, Steph after his first chip, that's when he had the unanimous MVP year. Like nobody could tell him shit. You know, like LeBron after
2012. Like, it happens. I completely understand that. Jordan, fucking. I think this guy's the limit for this guy, and I just think that we should. There was a talk when he was in New Orleans is why can't he be the best player in the world? And they were talking about Giannis, and they were talking about like when LeBron was down that year.
Yeah.
Like, why couldn't Anthony Davis be the best player in the world? Here's the last guy I want to talk about from these series.
Your favorite.
He had talking about like comparisons. He had a very LeBron like stat line where he was leading his whole team in like every statistical category for this finals. Which was very interesting to see him do that against LeBron.
Yeah.
Talk a lot of shit about this guy.
Yeah.
Talk a lot of shit about this guy. Never in a million years did I think Jimmy Butler would be able to do the things that he did. Maybe it's irrational confidence.
That sucks because it doesn't even look like he did anything that great right there. But if you show the final, it's the finals.
This is the point that I wanted to make to you. Like, he's got to be. Time out. Let me do the same exercise that I did with Anthony Davis. How many guys, if you took Jimmy Butler out and put somebody else in that spot, how many guys get that done?
What Jimmy did?
Yeah. If you replace Jimmy Butler and you add, I'll do the same thing. If you do James Harden, did they make the finals? It's a good team around him, but not really, right?
No, and that's more on James Harden. Names that what did you say?
I said, what about Paul George?
Hell no.
I'm naming guys that I would have put over Jimmy Butler before the playoffs started.
Oh, okay. I like guys that I'm thinking about is like a Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard.
No, I'm saying I go one tier beneath that. I'm saying 5 to 10
below. Okay.
Westbrook
probably wouldn't. But that's it. That's more on their intangibles than their skill.
I would say Jimmy Butler is entirely making my top 10 now because of intangibles.
Yeah. Yeah. But you want to know what's insane? It's just so funny because it's like life just like comes right back around us because or like just like comes in full circle because we spoke about this and we both like because it sounded insane when I said it like weeks ago when I said if Giannis was to get on a team with on the Heat, the reason they would win I said was because of Jimmy, not because of Giannis, and it sounded absolutely insane. And now you could kind of see it, like not for anything, not even trying, and it's not even like
tell you you're full of shit. I'm not even gonna say a word.
What do you mean?
I'm not saying you're wrong at all.
No. I'm not saying that I predicted this. I never expected Jimmy to do what he did in the finals.
That's what I'm saying.
He was playing out of his body.
You're totally right.
Yeah, like but. And I did see. I felt like I sounded crazy when I said that, but I knew what I meant to an extent. Like it was the way Jimmy closed those two games. And, is what I was talking about. But he did the superstar part too. I never expected him to do the superstar part. I'm like, you do the end of game part. You don't do the superstar part. And it was just crazy. He went absolutely bonkers. In that finals.
He's got to be in the top 10 in the league. Like that's going into next year. And anything other than that would be kind of disrespectful.
So who you want to make it up real quick? You want to
just gun to my head, top 10 off the top of my head?
Yeah.
LeBron, Durant. Yeah, keep the fingers up. That's going to help. Kawhi, Giannis, Anthony Davis. I was trying not to put it in particular order, but
no. Curry.
Or right, no? Curry.
Okay,
Did I say Durant? I said Durant, right?
Yeah, you did. Luka.
Yeah,
Luka would have done that.
Yeah, I'm with
that's crazy. What's crazy about Luka is this is his second year, and I'm thinking he would have done that. Yep,
Joker's
Murray?
definitely in there.
Are we going Murray over?
No, I'm not going Murray over Jimmy Butler.
Okay. I didn't know if he
hell no.
He broke a top 10 just what he did.
No. If anything, that's crazy.
Time out. Is that not an argument though? Murray and
Butler and Jamal Murray? Yeah. That's an argument to you?
How is it not?
I'm not saying Jamal Murray's top 10. I'm not ready to go there.
No, but I'm. How are you not saying that he's better than Butler? He has everything. He has the closing. He has the intangibles. He has the and he's a
defense. And he doesn't lead the team at all.
You don't think that team was when that team was winning?
Joker was the leader of that team.
Joker.
Oh yeah.
Undoubtedly, the team.
But it was double. It was both. It wasn't just the Joker. Like
maybe
he led them to.
Murray was 2 in that. To Joker's 1. Whereas Jimmy Butler is the leader on this team.
Yeah.
Even though there's a couple other people with points.
But we got 8 right now. We need 2 more.
Notice how I haven't said James Harden's name yet. Not ready to do that. That to me is the argument right now.
James Harden and him? All right, so let me
because it's the complete 2 sides of the coin. You got somebody that's all stats, no intangibles. And then you got somebody that's all intangibles, but the stats aren't really there.
Yeah.
So it's really just about what you like. But to me, that's the argument. So he's 9 or 10 now that we've got there. And we could think of 8 names. He's 9 or 10 to me.
Okay.
I think
I'd have to keep.
Would you pick him or Westbrook straight up?
If I have to build a team around the player?
Pick one. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll just say.
Yeah, I'm going Jimmy over. I'm picking.
Crazy? You would not have said that before this playoffs.
Yeah,
that's unbelievable. How much this guy has earned the respect of
Harden though. I might pick over Jimmy to build a team around.
But see where you're at. You're like, like.
Yeah. Before it wouldn't have been a question. Harden was in my top 5 before the
playoffs. Really?
He was in both of our. Russ, we talked about this.
For me, it's the opposite.
He wasn't in my top 5.
I will show receipts.
Okay.
I would take Jimmy over Harden before I took him over Westbrook.
if everyone's healthy, I could imagine putting Harden. If everyone's not healthy, like if you're giving me just the bubble people, I would have put Harden in the top 5. But not if you include like Durant and Curry and all those guys. I wouldn't have put him in there.
Oh no! Actually, you're right. Because I didn't even. I'm lying because I didn't even have him in my top 5 because Curry was that 5th spot. That's true. You are right. Yeah, but I think without him in the
he would have been
without Curry and Durant, he was in the top 5.
To start the bubble, he started the playoffs in the top 5.
Yeah, you're right. My bad.
Saw himself out.
Yeah.
Oh man, that poor guy. But fucking
Joel Embiid, you going Jimmy over Joel?
The case can be made, but nah, you can't go. You got to go Butler. I think Embiid's got more skill, and I think Embiid's probably the more like. I think from a skill standpoint, I'd rather build my team around Embiid, and he's not a bad culture guy. Like I don't think he's like fucking up the culture in Philly, but like. I don't want a guy eating hamburgers on the sideline 10 minutes before games. I really don't want.
And the intangibles with him too. I don't know if he's 100% there sometimes.
Like committed.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to say he's not though.
Yeah, I could see a world where he does the Shaq, the 2000 Shaq, where he just is like, all right, I'm gonna be on my shit, focused, and he's just completely the best player.
Put it this way, and this is to your point. Shaq did a stint in Miami. Ultimately didn't like it, but did okay, right? Joel Embiid has been on social media begging to go to Miami in the last year.
Yeah. That would be dangerous. Imagine this Jimmy now with that.
They have cap space. Pretty sure.
That'll be dope.
Pretty sure they have cap space going into next year.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they're going to get Embiid or Giannis, but they're going to make a move. They're going to add something to this team. This is not the last we've seen of the Miami Heat.
Yeah. But what I love about this the most is, and this is what we talk about with the playoffs.
Yeah.
The playoffs made it didn't matter. It made you respect Jimmy. Like, because you didn't respect him. We know that we had a whole freaking half an hour argument 2-3 month ago or whatever about Jimmy. And you didn't respect shit about him. No. But this is what the playoffs does. It tells you who's the shit and who's not.
Yeah. And Jimmy Butler is a max guy, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And the Rockets look less crazy now for wanting to trade 4 first-round picks for him than they did when at the time, because they looked fucking insane.
Yeah.
And I'm stunned. I find myself stunned at his performance. Do you think he'll ever be able to duplicate what he's done? Do you think he's going to come in next season with more confidence? And like all of a sudden we're going to start seeing a miniature version of this stat line where maybe it's 25,
5-5, superstar,
maybe
superstar minimum.
Yeah, the superstar minimum. That's actually a good way to put it.
Yeah. I could see that.
So you guys are saying like the bubble was his USA basketball moment where he like went in, got that confidence, and the next season he's like, I'm gonna fuck shit up.
I could say the same thing for Anthony Davis. But
you want to know, and I know this sounds weird, and I know I can't do this and I shouldn't do this, but I honestly feel like he would have done this no matter what.
Who?
Jimmy.
Just like wherever.
So no, not no matter what. I think because he's in the Heat, like the Heat. It literally fit the Heat organization fits him like a glove. Like we've already established that. That is perfect for him.
Yeah.
But I think so. They went in, and you could tell even during the press conferences, they said we got Jimmy for this. Like so, they made it known like this is our superstar. This is what we think of him, and he's our number one guy. And at some points, I felt like he was kind of fighting it like a little, like because I don't know if you heard in his like he's like. I'd like Tyler Hero to go off one game. Like I don't care who goes off or whatever. Yeah. And like you could almost hear the team and Eric Spoelstra like pushing it. Like you're gonna be our guy. You have to be like in order for us to even have a chance.
Yeah.
But I honestly feel like maybe not to the. I mean, final. You never know if he would have made the finals. He probably would have done this. Like, but I just feel like the team set it up that way, and watching the bubble and watching how things worked out, Like I just don't see how they would have lost in the East anyways. Like the way, like me beforehand, I never would have thought that because I didn't even think the Heat were gonna pass the second round. But like watching the games get played and how like the thought process of the Heat and like how they like structured their defense against every team, like I feel like how would guarding Giannis the way they did in the bubble change if it was in a crowded arena? Like I think he still would have had those same issues. If anything, it would have been hard on Giannis. And I think if you could argue that it would have been hard on the Celtics too, but he might have not had Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson producing as much. So it all depends.
Team's foundation, if they get like a serious stud, like a Joel or a Giannis, who's like right on the cusp of like.
What if they have it already with Bam? What if Bam he takes that extra step? Like, and not to mention, he did what he had to do. He just he got injured. You know, like he got injured in the middle of the middle of the series, and maybe he was gonna do a little more.
But even injured, he was still a problem. Like he still produced.
17, 10, and almost 5 for Bam.
Yeah.
For the playoffs.
Like if he takes that extra step and goes to 20, 22 and gives you the 10 rebounds, 5 assists, like that's Kevin Garnett. Like you said.
Yeah. Without the defense. He's got no block shots, which I find interesting. But
well, because if they were running zone for most of the.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. You're right.
Okay, so then do the Miami Heat need another piece, or did we only think that because we thought Jimmy Butler couldn't be that person?
Until further notice, I think they're one piece short from dominating the league.
Oh, for sure.
That's where I feel like they're one piece short. Like I'm talking about being the team to beat. They're one piece short from being the team to beat because they have the deepest team in the league. I'm pretty sure. It's them or the Clippers.
I feel like all their pieces are there. I think it's just like they were there a year early and they got shocked or something. Yeah,
I could see them stepping up. Because I could see it's not that hard to believe Bam could average another 4 or 5 more points than that. Like if he takes an extra step, and it's not that hard to think that Jimmy could average 25, 5, and 5. Like seeing what he did. Like he has a chance, and he's only in his he's not only, but he's in his 9th year now. So it'll be late bloomer, but I could definitely see just that extra step they need. Yeah. Or you could have Tyler Hero step up again because he's gonna be more like in his 3rd year.
That kid's gonna get better, and it's his rookie year this year.
Yeah,
Tyler Hero.
Exactly.
But yeah, I look at a guy like this and I just think the sky's the limit for guys like this. When you have size and length and you can move like you don't have size and length, that's what makes you special in basketball.
Yeah.
Almost always. Like
and then because if you look at it, all the guys that we think are unicorns are that. Like KD and Anthony Davis.
And you know what's interesting though? The quote unquote unicorn guys, they're not really unicorns anymore. They're just the standard for a great, like, naturally gifted player.
Yeah. But they were unicorns when they came into the league. Yeah.
Yeah. But now scouts look for length and like that kind of archetype. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The only thing for me, so I never noticed how big LeBron James was until I saw him next to Bam. I think I texted the group chat this, but I thought like he might give Bron like some issues because I'm like, oh, he's a big guy, like, and he's like big and brolic and like could probably stick with LeBron because that was the same thing. Because remember, I thought he was gonna be an issue for Giannis,
right?
And so I was assuming that was gonna be very similar to the basket, like with Bron. That was gonna be tough, but then I saw LeBron post him up one time, and LeBron is legit like 20 to 30 pounds heavier than this dude. Yeah. Same size.
Bam's also like 22 years old. Like he's super young.
Yeah, that's true.
Still a baby.
Yeah. But that'll be interesting to see what that team does in the future. And one more, I guess, LeBron cock loving is so I think, and this is what I talk about, and with me too. Like I totally like take this guy for granted because we saw Jimmy Butler do that in Game 3, right? It was Game 3 that he did the 40, 13, and 12 or some shit like that, and he just went off, and he controlled. He went in the game. He hit all the big shots. He and then he pretty much had a LeBron stat line. And the very next game, he just like it was good, but it wasn't the same. And it was just because he couldn't, because he like it's hard to get that out of you. Yeah, and then going into Game 5, like it was like he needed a breather. He was like, all right, now Game 5, I have my breath. I could do this again. And then he went 35, whatever. And that's just like normal LeBron James shit. And we find it like we expect it from LeBron. And like you see other stars in the league try to do it, and it's like so difficult because it's just hard to do on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
And that's just crazy to me. That was one thing that because I think I texted you on Saturday, and I was like, I just don't see Jimmy doing that again, because it's just so much that you have to do in order to like even come close to winning.
Well, that's why I thought that the Lakers really lost that Game 5 more so than the Heat won it, because like the Heat were doing so much, and they were barely beating the Lakers the whole game. And that's what I just kept sitting there like and thinking. I was like, okay, yeah, it's like third quarter and they're behind, but I feel like they haven't been beating them that much. I don't know if it was just my opinion, but it felt like even though that game went the Heat's way, it just felt like the Lakers missed it more than anything.
Well, yeah, you could definitely tell who was the better team. Like you could tell it was the Heat fighting to stay alive versus like they had, it wasn't like a back and forth. It was more like I'm fighting to stay in this.
Yeah.
But yeah, but that game, especially Game 5, like you just have to give it to Jimmy, because it's like the shit that he did in that game ended up like the last, I want to say 8 points of the game was just all on him, and it was just him attacking AD and making big shots. And you see Tyler with this dirty snarl, whatever it's called.
His thin lip snarl.
Yeah, disgusting ass boy. Yo, you want to know what's crazy? His girlfriend was Kuzma's girlfriend, and Kuzma just beat him for the chip. Is that crazy or not? She tight. I'm sorry, Katia.
She's upset.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about the bubble in a nutshell.
Wait. Before we leave the series, we forgot to talk about one person, and he made history a little bit by winning the championship. Rajon Rondo has won a championship with the Celtics and the Lakers.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Actually, we should stop for a second. Is Rajon Rondo a Hall of Famer?
Yeah.
Yes.
They give people Hall of Fame for less. Fuck that. There's no way you could argue. Rondo's not a Hall of Famer. There's just no way.
One of my favorite players of all time. He's got 2 good seasons.
He's where is he in all-time assists?
Not very high. Not as high as you'd think. However,
he's not top 10.
I don't think so.
He just put up
That's
the
crazy.
Most assists coming off the bench in the playoffs ever, and that was with missing 5 games of the playoffs this year.
I'm not saying that look, I love Rondo. Let's make one thing very clear. Rondo, when the big 3 were aging out in Boston, Rondo was the reason that team was good.
He kept them afloat.
Yeah, he did. Rondo was fucking awesome. And Rondo, every year, if he's
clicking single season, I think
is one of the most impressive players I've ever seen. For his size and his lack of shooting ability, he is impressive. Rondo is 15th all time.
15th. Yeah, that warrants you a spot with 2 championships.
But look, there are guys in front of him who are not in the Hall of Fame. Andre Miller.
Yeah, but they aren't champions. Isn't Gary Payton a Hall of Famer?
Yes. Anyone with an asterisk here is in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, really?
Chris Paul will probably get in. Mark Jackson will not get in.
Probably. Yeah. No, I was just laughing. I was laughing because LeBron probably being a Hall of Famer is just funny. Yeah. I mean, I'm messing with you. I'm just messing with you.
Hey, he could come out and say some like the worst possible thing ever and get himself banned.
I don't think. I just can't.
I can't imagine LeBron saying anything negative, let alone something so negative that would eliminate him
exactly.
from basketball.
The most scandalous thing that has ever happened to him in terms of publicity in his giant career since he was a teenager was his teenage son smoking weed. He didn't even do it. He doesn't fuck up in the public.
I'm surprised he hasn't. I'm literally surprised he hasn't mentioned that. Or no one's asked him yet. About
it's not about business.
What are you doing about Bronny?
One thing I'm more scared of, one thing that's scarier than LeBron the basketball player is LeBron the father. That's the scariest fucking thing.
You think?
He's got to be the most intimidating dad ever.
I feel like he's have you seen him with his kids? He acts like he's
I don't know.
When
I was a kid, I was scared of my dad because he was a little bit bigger than me. If I was LeBron James's child, he controls the whole world.
Yeah.
He controls the whole sports world. It's not even bullshit.
Yeah.
That's gotta be the most intimidating thing for
that ass whooping about to be hella clean right now. Yo, you wanna know what's really disgusting though? Rondo is probably been known his whole career to be a pass first point guard. And Russell Westbrook has been the biggest nut I've ever seen in my whole life. And my man is more higher than him in the all-time assists. And it was just because Russell Westbrook's a faggot and he passes it off to the big man right under.
You know what? Something crazy.
The rim, and it's called
Rondo,
an assist.
Especially this is the year Rondo tore his ACL. Because after that point he was a change guy. That last season they were not winning a lot, and he was chasing assists blatantly. Just blatantly going for 20 assist games.
Oh, really?
That bad.
Oh, well, and you would know because
I was following that team really closely at the time. Yeah. And it would annoy me because I was like, as funny as you just said that, I was literally like, please, because Durant was still in Oklahoma City. And I was like, please, can we just trade Rondo for Westbrook? It helps everyone. I was like, this is the most genius shit ever. Just let's trade them both. It would be fire. Everybody wins. Because I saw the
KD would have probably won a chip that year if that would have happened.
Maybe, but I saw the Westbrook triple-double thing when he was by himself. I saw that happening years before other people saw it happening.
Yeah.
I was like, this guy's fucking nut. He's crazy. And he's like Michael Jordan with his level of and Kobe with his level of ferocity towards the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But
it's just disgusting when you see it.
Yeah. It's true.
Him.
But
yeah. It's just uncontrolled. Yeah.
But LeBron, but I don't know if Rondo makes the Hall of Fame. Let's check his probability because I know that's on these.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they have a probability percentage.
And they have the extra chip on there now, so they should definitely. Let's see.
Website.
I promise you, I'm gonna try to bet 64%.
You think that's your guess?
Yeah, 64%.
I'll say 80 because that's the way this usually works out for me. Is I'm wrong. Oh wow, you were on the money.
Hey,
wow.
I'm Liddy.
Oh my, completely on the money.
I was 3 percentage points off.
But yeah, 60%. And there are guys.
Wait, go back. Is Melo there? You can do control fine. Right?
Yeah, I know. That's what I was about to do. I didn't realize I was on that.
My bad. I know. I just thought I saw Melo at 90%.
This is a completely fair question. I tried to do fine, but
Because to me, Rondo deserves it more than Melo. 98%. That's crazy.
Dwight is another guy we didn't talk about.
Oh, it's 100. Yes.
He's a guaranteed Hall of Famer now. 100%. He should be in the 1,000 mark, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But look, Anthony Davis with that ring. This is what I was saying.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
That's crazy. What did Melo do? He's
And I'm not going to click on this motherfucker's name because we're talking about the playoffs right now, and Melo doesn't have anything to do with that. Never. That's a fact. So,
except losing in the first round, boy.
Oh my goodness, we're so mean.
Hashtag fuck Melo. But all right. All in all, takes on the bubble. What was your favorite moment from the bubble this besides obviously the Lakers winning the championship?
My favorite moment of the bubble was 1,000% Luka hitting that game winner. Yeah, it was the I swear to God, Lindsay, I didn't even think about that. It was against the Clippers.
You, Dario.
It was just the whole because we were texting. Remember, we were texting beforehand, and we were saying Like, I don't even know if he's gonna be able to play because he rolled his ankle, and it was a high ankle sprain. There was no way he should have even been able to play, and he came out and put a historic night up. And Russ was saying, going into this game, you were saying, I want to see this, and I was like, bro, that's too much to ask for a guy who's in his second year. Like, that's not even fair. And I was like, wasn't I defending him going in?
No,
and he did everything.
You were like telling me to lower my expectations.
Yeah,
and I was like, no way.
Yeah, and
this fucking play, I forgot about this one.
Yeah,
but no, Luka's probably the best one. This block was up there. The AD buzzer beaters, fucking fire. Like
Luka probably became one of my 5 favorite players in the game. Just off of this playoffs.
And what about the Joker? Oh, Michael Porter Jr.
I love the Joker.
The Joker's another one that I don't know if he's because I like the way Luka plays a lot, and I like the shit talk. Like, the Joker doesn't really do all of that as much, so it's more. And you know, with me, it's always more of the like other shit than just the game. Like the game, everyone's nice. I want the extra shit. I want something to make show your personality a little bit.
Yeah. I feel that way more in like Ultimate Fighting, or like in MMA rather than
Yo, time out. What did he do right there? Yo, he got blocked, got the ball, he was in bounds, and he threw it at James Harden. For what reason? Look at that. Look, watch. He's in bounds. He's not out of bounds. He threw it at him. Why did you do that? You fucking idiot. That was literally the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life.
I just realized that now.
Oh my god. Yeah, he was both feet were inbounds, and he was like, "Oh, gotta throw it at you." James Harden was like, "Ah."
And you see Chris Paul running up on him too. He's like, "Hello."
Yeah, he's like, "What are you doing, fucking idiot?"
That's crazy. He dead ass. That didn't get more shit at the time, did it?
No, and you wanna know what's the craziest? I think that was the end of the series, right? That was to end the series.
Yeah, well, because people got so focused on the fact that when he caught the ball, he was already out of bounds because his foot was on the line. So they didn't even talk about the fact that he just threw it away after that.
Yeah.
Oh, the face of shame.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck you, Russell Westbrook.
Oh, and watching LeBron James totally treat Russell Westbrook and James Harden as if he was their biological father. That was amazing. I've never seen like a superstar treat 2 other superstars in the same series like that. I've never seen that.
I have. Michael Jordan did it twice to Karl Malone and John Stockton.
But like on them like that though, like blocking them and shit. Like,
oh yeah. Like you know how MJ would do if you're doing the post fade. MJ stole the ball from Malone straight up to hit the shot. Like, he sung them hard.
Yeah.
But it's to that level. It's definitely to that degree, I would say.
But it was just funny, like the little shit. Like Westbrook was like talking shit when he was down 30, and LeBron was just laughing at him, like shit like that. Like
he definitely LeBron-toed them hard.
Yeah, exactly.
That treatment.
Yeah.
Fucking.
The Rockets are going to be the Toronto of the West for LeBron.
Doc Rivers went from being one of the most secure coaching jobs in the league to being fired. That happened.
Oh yeah.
If you had told me at the beginning of this playoffs, Doc Rivers getting fired,
I would have been so happy.
Oh,
damn! I would not have expected him to get fired.
That's what I'm saying. Me neither.
How can you not though? That was the second time he's been their coach where he lost the 3-1
series. I didn't expect that shit to happen.
No. I didn't expect the 3-1 to happen. I'm saying like you're telling me going into the playoffs, you thought after the playoffs Doc would get fired. I don't think.
No.
I didn't see any scenario of that. Even when it happened, I didn't. I told you. I'm like, there's no way they're gonna fire him. Like, didn't I say it? Like, and
he was gone in like 24 hours. He was done.
That's crazy.
I think he got a job with the Sixers in like 24 hours later.
Yeah, he got fired, and then like a day later, he got hired.
Yo, it's awesome seeing this again because like the shit that we saw in this bubble was fire.
This is what I was trying to tell you earlier, man. This is my point.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get into this real quick. This is my hot take. Leaving the bubble, they need to do this shit every year. We need a central location or an island for the playoffs, where the teams they stay in that location in like a nice hotel or whatever, like a campus type deal.
Yeah.
And we get this every year. This level of competition. I don't give a fuck about fans. I don't give a fuck about anything but the players playing at this extreme level with all the shit talking and intensity and social media shit that happened off the court, like with fucking Damian Lillard and fucking Paul George with the 1-2-3 Cancun. Like,
yeah,
none of that shit happens in the regular environment. None of that shit happens because people aren't in each other's business in the same way. They're just not in each other's business. They go home, they fuck their wives, they forget about it. Like they're not thinking.
You don't think Lillard has had Lillard had that with Westbrook in OKC? That's why, and then he told them to bye. Lillard talks a lot of shit. That's why I like Lillard so much. It's because he talks his shit.
And he stood out in this bubble. I'm pretty sure he was the bubble, the seeded best player. Yeah.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
The best, most tough, mentally players stood out the most, and that should matter more than it does in a regular scenario. Like, I learned Jamal Murray is extremely mentally tough. Didn't know that.
Yeah.
Didn't know that. Joker, all these guys, fucking Luka Doncic, as you brought up.
Yeah.
Luka Doncic elevated himself multiple levels.
I think he was going to do that no matter what, though.
Who do we talk about being soft? This fucking guy, who I love dearly. But his mental toughness is put in question often. And he did not make the finals.
But I don't know if he was not mentally tough, though. I just think he didn't have I think it was more ability than toughness.
Maybe.
For me. I just think if he had that right there, what he just did, a mid-range shot, I think he would probably be here. But that we've already had this conversation. But I don't think I never looked at Giannis as a mentally weak guy.
Me neither. But where we would be, I think there are people that feel that way about him.
You think we're in the
possibly. I'm not saying for certain, but I definitely think that people think that at this point, Giannis, like, you know, it's the what have you done for me lately type shit.
Yeah.
Like, fuck your MVPs, you don't do anything. That type of shit. And that tends to lead people down that soft.
But he should appreciate that. You want to know why? Because they don't do that to people who aren't great.
Word.
So he'll be fine.
Fucking, but we've really found some diamonds in the rough, and I think the NBA is in a really good place.
Oh yeah.
And
this is the best. Do you think this is the best the NBA's been, like, in terms of like the amount of stars in the league? Like,
this is the most talented.
Probably in the last 20 years. You think?
Fuck that. This is the most talented period of time there's ever been in terms of individual talent. By leaps 100%. By leaps and bounds.
Yeah, because the 7th or 8th guy on your team is like way better than any 7th or 8th time. Like Steve Kerr in 19
would not play in today's league.
Yeah, he could. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like, and you know what? You don't have to go back that far.
Yeah.
Roy Hibbert.
Mm-hmm.
He literally got phased out in the moment.
Yeah.
It changed overnight.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Like, which players you were able to roster and which players you couldn't.
Yeah.
For personnel.
Do you think Powell would have been better in this era? I think he would have been way better. I think he would have been so much better.
Oh my God. He would have been awesome. Because people would have taken that finesse game more for, like, what it,
they wouldn't have looked at him as weak for it.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Fucking, that's a good point. Like Dirk, that's why he was able to
That's another thing too. Like you could look at some players who they probably would be better if they played at this point. I know I've seen like some of the JJ's podcasts and Matt Barnes and stuff, like they'll talk about players and they'll say like they actually would have been better in this era versus the era that they played in.
About guys in Jordan's era that don't get a lot of credit, like Mark Price, all time. Like, he would have been like a Steve Nash type guy in this era.
Yeah.
And then there's guys like Bill Laimbeer.
Mm-hmm. Would never. Yeah.
I don't know if he. I no, but here's the thing about him: stretch big. He could shoot from the center position.
Could he?
Yes.
If you have Steven Adams on a team, I could see Bill Laimbeer making a team.
But that's the thing.
The whole thing is he played way more physical. Yeah, like he played
more physical, and the way
rugged, and
he would have gotten ejected and thrown out of more games than anybody in history if he played now.
Because he was more tough than talented.
Yeah,
and but that's how the league was back then. It was more about the toughness than the talent. But
then when you say that, then somebody like Ron Artest says, "Don't call the guys in this era not tough." And there are certain guys that you can say that about in this era, definitely. And it's
but Ron Artest is talking about an era that he didn't play in. He's talking. This era is not the same era that he played in.
I mean, it wasn't that long ago, though. Is my point.
In 2000, 2009 was way more of a physical game than this was.
I guess, but this is more what I'm saying. I don't think it's physicality as much as it is what you were talking about or what I was talking about earlier with personnel changing. Like, I just think the guys got smaller. I don't think the league got more skilled with the ball handling and the shooting. Yeah. And I think that I don't think it's a matter of. I think that we shooting and skill is sometimes synonymous with soft and weakness and finesse.
Yeah, because a lot of people said Kobe had a finesse game, which he
no, that's stupid. That's just because he had skill. That guy was all about.
He was super physical.
Game, power.
Yeah. That's what everybody when they talk and when people talked about Kobe, they would always say that. Like, you talk about Kobe's skill and shit, but like it was his toughness. Like, he was stronger than you think. Stuff like that. Like, no, you're right.
But any other key points from the bubble that we missed on that we wanted to hit? Got anything?
No, I discovered that I like watching playoff basketball the most when it's not a Clippers series.
Oh yeah.
I get way too much anxiety.
Yeah. I feel that.
And also just maybe it's because them as like just their history of existing, they always blow leads. So even when they're winning, third quarter, fourth quarter, I'm just like, I don't believe you until there's no time on the clock. And
yeah. I noticed that. My bad, Lynn, to cut you off. But yesterday when the Lakers were up by like 30 and you were telling me to like calm down, I'm like, what? I'm like, you telling me to calm down right now? We about to dog these motherfuckers.
Yeah, but you were saying that at like the end of the third quarter. There was a whole
and I'm like, this shit is over.
But Dario, let's be fair. As soon as the Lakers got 3 wins, you've been telling me it's over.
Yeah.
They got 3 wins.
Yeah.
You were like, it's over. Game 5. It's over.
I got into my pure fan mode. Because and I didn't expect that though. I did not, and I was like literally rooting for LeBron. I was like, yo, I've never seen myself root for LeBron.
Like who am I?
Yeah, seriously, but it's just like
Kobe died, and I just jumped right on the LeBron bandwagon.
Man, seriously,
that's bad funny.
But that's what Kobe wanted me to do.
What was your biggest takeaway, bubble?
Me?
Yeah.
My biggest takeaway. I honestly didn't going into the when watching the play. I think after we started watching the playoffs, we mentioned this, but like I never expected the games to change as much as it did in terms of the intensity of every single possession. It started to feel almost like a football game where you, and not in the sense that they were playing physical in that way, but where every possession mattered more.
Yeah.
And in football, especially in the playoffs, that you feel that a lot. Yeah. And that was one thing that I really liked about this bubble, where every possession mattered, because no matter if you were up by 20 or up by 30 or anything like that, they could come back at any point, because there's no crowd there.
No lead was safe.
Yeah. And that's why, like, when you were giving me shit, Lindsay, well, not giving me shit, but when you were saying that anything could happen with this team, with the Heat team, because they had come back from leads before. Like, I understood it. I was just, and I think I was just being more of an ass.
No, like, I completely got your point. It's just, there's also just been like this history, especially in the bubble, where people have just been signing off on things before they happen. Like, it's just, exactly. And it's never worked out for the people who signed off on it.
Yeah, especially with the Heat. The Heat were a very tough team. So, because even at the end of that game ended with like, they lost by like 13 points or some shit like that, and they were down by like 32 or some shit. So, but yeah, that was the main thing. I like that, and that's what made me start watching football more, was how every game mattered and how every like possession mattered, and that's what makes you like really get into the game, and I felt that while watching this playoffs for sure.
My biggest takeaway is They should never ever put camera people underneath the basket ever again. That's number one.
Facts.
I was gonna talk about the spacing around the court too. I was like, it should always be like this.
Yeah, they should never because that is one thing that increases, especially intensity going at the rim. Like, look how fast these guys are going at the rim because they don't have to worry about falling on people.
Yeah,
like little things like that. They should be eliminated. And I really stand by this, man. If you can, one central location for a playoff game or for the playoffs should really be thought about because it really changed everything. It changed absolutely everything. And we, in my opinion, saw the best teams do the best. Period. It wasn't about who had the most skill. It wasn't about who had whose roster had the most all-stars. It was about whose team could survive. And
whose team was a team, actually. Yeah,
yes.
I agree.
And all the Lakers talked about last night were we were in our locker room together. We were constantly in our locker room. And or not our locker room, but in our hotel rooms.
In hotels, yeah. Yeah, I know what you meant.
Doing our thing, building the chemistry. And I'm like, yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe that doesn't happen if they get to go home every night.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. And you saw that the teams that didn't win, like, and not to keep harping on your Clippers,
no, you're good. Keep going.
But like you heard a bunch of reports after the fact that they had a lot of chemistry issues and like people were pissed off at Paul George and some people were pissed at Kawhi too. And a lot of people didn't feel like Paul George deserved what the Kawhi treatment that he was getting. Yeah. In terms of and like shit like that, like it showed up in this bubble. What like?
I mean, I feel like everybody had a very valid reason for being mad at Paul George in this bubble.
Yeah.
Like, did he exist in this bubble? I think he existed for like 5 games.
Yeah. But unfortunately, that's what you guys signed up for.
I know. Trust me, I know.
But Paul George, to me, is the greatest example of why we should do the bubble every single year.
I think what also helps with the bubble is
I'm really serious. I'm done thinking these guys are great when they're not.
Yeah, but the playoffs always shows that.
Not like this. Not this year, man. It was real different.
You think?
Exposed people.
I mean, what did Paul George do that we didn't see him do before?
But that was my point. It was so much more like obvious.
But me and you both felt like me, you, and Lindsay were actually we all.
But another guy we all felt the same about was Russell Westbrook, and look how much he got exposed in the bubble.
My argument for the Clippers doing well was the fact that even if Paul George sucked, their bench was going to save them, but their bench failed too, and that's why they didn't win shit.
Yeah, but I think. Go ahead.
No, I think that the traveling also has a lot to do with how good or bad some people did. I think that not traveling in the playoffs is a good thing. And you see that they worry about that with the way that they switched around, the way that the finals work, and like the numberings of the games and stuff. So I think bringing a central location would help with that.
Yeah.
So look, I need the fans matter, bro. Like they honestly
don't agree on that. I don't think agree because I one thing that was my final takeaway was that I don't ever give a shit about going to a game ever again if it means we get kind of performance. Could care less. Not gonna meet any of these guys unless I'm part of the business. Like fucking.
But like watching it,
I'm just paying $250 to sit in the court. Like I'd rather watch it like this. And the players didn't fucking play like this when I went.
But you probably went to a regular season game, did you?
No, I
went to playoff games.
I went to Philly to watch Philly play Boston, and then
they didn't play like this.
And then I went to Brooklyn to watch Brooklyn play Philly the following year, and both times it wasn't this serious. The Philly crowd was awesome.
Yeah, and we also witnessed the only game Philly won in Philly. During that playoff series. So it was crazy.
Oh, wow.
Everybody. As I wear my Celtic shirt. But fucking, I just thought my ultimate takeaway from the bubble was some of the best basketball I've ever seen.
That's a fact.
By a mile. Like, and I hope that this isn't the last time. I hope I don't leave this saying to you on a future episode of the show, man, remember the bubble when they played really hard? What is this? Like, I hope that I'm not saying that to you next year.
I feel like you won't. I feel like when it next playoff, the playoffs get intense. I just a lot of people, and that was always my thing with people, because they'd say that they didn't like to watch NBA games because it wasn't as intense.
Yeah.
Like that's been the thing for a while, and I see that in the regular season, but the playoffs, I just don't know. Like, I feel like they definitely were closer games than usual, I want to say, and it was definitely harder to bet on these games, but
yeah.
But when it came to like intensity, like they were like, it was just, I feel like I've watched just as intense games. Like, if anything, like, to me, actually, the NBA Finals wasn't as intense as only what, like game 4 and 5. I mean, sorry, game 3 and 5 when Jimmy won it. Those were the games that I felt like were the most intense in the finals, personally. But
I'd say this finals was only lost that level of intensity because people felt like the Heat could win some games but not win the series.
Yeah.
And the same could be said for the Warriors-Cavs series, because I would say literally one game per each of those series was actually like dramatic. Unless you're talking about the 7-game one where they won, obviously. But
with the Warriors, with the 2017, 2018?
Yeah, like when they had Durant, I would say those were not very, to me, like they had the game 3 shot by Durant, like, I don't know. They had those shots, but like you knew
in 2017, yeah. In 2018 there was 2 out of the 4, I guess, but I see what you're saying.
But like that game 1 by LeBron, as soon as you saw LeBron break his hand, that was it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I agree.
That's what like, unless there's teams that people really feel like anybody could win, that intensity is just not going to happen. Oh, you're just looking at this shit again?
That is the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life.
But I think in terms of series by series, there was no series that was a dudzilla. Absolutely none.
Yeah, all of them kept you interested for sure. I mean, the East not so much, but for the most part, I want to say, like, if there were there's like 20 series, and like I want to say at least 10, 15 of them were pretty good.
Yeah, which is a very high percentage.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Final thoughts? That's it? We good?
Well, we didn't get to the odds next year. Do we want to touch on it, or is there so many things up in the air that it's just like, oof?
Hold on. Time out. We can get those. What happened? Okay. Yeah, let's pull those up. Hold on. 20, 21.
Oh, they actually have.
Correct.
Oh.
Thing. So, championship odds by team. Let's hit some of the big ones. Clippers second.
Crazy.
To the Lakers, who are plus 380. The Bucks are third. The Nets are fifth.
Mm-hmm.
That's a bet I would be interested in to win. That'd be interesting. Warriors sixth, another one. Heat completely dependent on what they do in the offseason. Then you got Nuggets, Rock,
or how they develop.
Yeah, I see it more as development than off-season moves. I feel like they have all the pieces. They were just not there yet.
But like I said, I think they're one stud away from moving from here to here. Like, to jump a bunch of names on this list. To me, the team that I thought the Nets would be third.
I'd put 200 on Golden State.
Yeah.
To get 2,800? Facts. I would definitely do that.
That's a pretty good one.
Because I could see them doing something in the off season.
They have that really high pick coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Did the Rockets drop dramatically from last year's predictions?
Say that again?
I feel like the Rockets were a lot higher up last year in their predictions than they are this year.
Yeah, well,
they were probably like
when you lose all
top 5. Well, the whole thing is you got to remember the Nets game. Nets are coming in, and the Warriors, and then Heat jumped up. So that's three. That's already three that kind of jumped up. And then Nuggets. I would think the Nuggets were better than the Rockets too. So that makes sense. But they all kind of fall under the same thing. The Rockets, Nuggets, and Raptors are technically in the same tier with that betting line.
Yeah. No, yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think of all the bets, I would take Brooklyn or Warriors here in terms of a betting standpoint. But I'm shocked the Clippers are still where they're at. They don't even have a coach right now.
Yeah.
It's because I'm surprised that the Warriors are that much lower. There's no way that I would.
That one surprises me the least because of all the guys that were hurt and how their teams totally changed.
Yeah, but it's just like, they must be expecting them to diminish a little bit.
Take a year off, probably. But they still, the whole foundation's still there.
Yeah, I know. Like, that's why I would take that bet in a heartbeat.
Yeah. But that is that season, the one that we're talking about, the next one, is at a date that is yet to be determined.
Yeah. Because it should have been starting soon.
Yeah. True. Like in the next
I think they're thinking like, and Adam Silver, I think he said that he's not sure yet, so they don't have a definitive date. But I feel like it's gonna be like towards the beginning of next year, 2021.
I wouldn't imagine they would have them playing before then.
This will be the best time for them to change the
games,
the regular season structure and stuff. Like do like 60 games or 70 games instead of 82.
Oh, we're definitely getting a shortened season next year, 100%.
And I hope they stay with that though, because to be honest, like no one gives. Like I understand the money's there, but like
I have a huge
no one gives a fuck about.
As someone who follows the game via statistics, when we talk about who the greatest players of all time is, and then we let's say we get 20 years from now, and a guy's only played 60 games, and then I compare him to LeBron, who's played 82 constantly, it changes everything. Yeah, everything, absolutely everything, and that's why.
But did Bill Russell and them play 82 games?
They played 70, so it's 70? Not even that as low as 60.
Yeah. So I mean, even if they do that, where they play 70 instead, I don't know. Yeah. Something definitely has to change because the regular season game is not as fun to watch.
But I think I don't think that's on the amount of games as much as it is on the players to fucking step up and like make the games matter. Like,
but it's hard, bro. It's hard. It's hard for you to play 82 straight games, and like.
No, but I understand. I understand that aspect of it, but maybe that's how maybe they should work with redoing the schedule a little bit so that people aren't playing 4 games in a week.
That's what they've been trying to do. They've been trying to like cut back on the
so that way guys come in
back to backs and
like if they just did games on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, right? Because I know Wednesday's their big day where they have lots of games, right? And then Thursday's usually national TV, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then Tuesday they don't stay out of the way of football and things like that.
No weekend games? That's stupid. That makes no sense.
You do the Saturday or Sunday special like they've been doing. They have it like middle, or they used to have it in like the middle, like 3-4 o'clock on a Saturday or Sunday, and there'd be like 1 or 2 games, and that would be it.
Yeah. The whole thing is a lot of people don't give a shit about some of the lower level teams, so that's another thing that, because it's not like football where it doesn't people care about lower level teams. Like people are always going to care about football because of fantasy,
right?
And basketball just doesn't have the fantasy.
But also, that was another reason why the competition was so good, is because they played with less shit teams.
Yeah,
22 teams went to the bubble.
Yeah,
and, 8 shitty ones.
Yeah,
done.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Maybe they should do that. Actually, you know what? I'm proven for that. Let's get the Knicks out of here. I'm with that. Let's get the Knicks.
Just cut some teams and then start. Yeah.
No, really. Maybe the Knicks are at the bottom of this list. Hornets? Come on.
Oh, the Knicks are at 8,000?
The Knicks have way less of a chance than the Hornets. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, they bugging. Why would the Hornets be under the Knicks?
I'm pretty sure once they get past 20, they're like, whatever.
Yeah, we don't give a fuck. You're not going to win.
Nobody has faith in Michael Jordan as someone who owns a team. That's what that is.
Right? The world's worst owner. But for Apex Greatness, I am Russell Broderick. That is Dario Albuquerque.
Yes.
Off camera is the Fairy Pod member Lindsay Lehman. And we are saying peace.
Adieu.